Welcome to Adventures in Life. I'm Earl Beecher, your host. I'm particularly pleased to have in the studio the Rhythm Brothers. In fact, I've been working on this for years to get you guys in here. They opened the show with Samba Lee. I love samba, anything with a Latin beat. But it's a far cry from bluegrass.
Well, part of our show, when we do the Performing Arts Centers, is centered around bluegrass, centered around Irish music, centered around classical music, centered around jazz music, and that's what we're doing now, is jazz.
You're going to do jazz today.
We're going to do jazz today.
I love jazz. Okay. Let me introduce the members of the group. Right here, who just spoke to us, is Doug Maddox. And Doug, will you introduce the rest of the gentlemen, please?
Be glad to. Over here is, right over here to on the guitar, and on my right is Mr. Raul Reynoso, who writes a lot of our compositions and is our main singer. And then over beyond Raul is Mr. Paul Shulaski, who is a fine fiddle player, both in the bluegrass, Irish, and jazz tradition. And he also writes some of our material. And then we have right over here, my kind of guy, Mr. Westy Westenhofer, the laughing guy all the way. We are the laughing people here. Have no idea what I'm talking about. But I say we should do another tune before I have to say another word.
That's a great idea.
I think it's a very good idea.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
We're going to do a tune. I'm not going to tell you. We're just going to start it and play it, and then I'll tell you later.
You're not going to tell me?
I'm not going to tell you.
All right, I'll get out of the way, and we'll see what you do.
Okay.
The Rhythm Brothers. Tell me about it.
I am going to tell you about it. That tune is called Matelot. And believe it or not,
Matelot.
it was actually composed by our guitarist, Mr. Raul Reynoso over here.
Oh, and he composed the Samba Lead, too.
He composed Samba Lee. And when he started writing all these little pieces of music that he's writing now, we asked him, what do you call this music? And Raul said, well, it's my music. I said, well, what do you call it, though? There must be some type of style it's called. He says, well, I don't really know. And then when we started recording our new CD, the record company said, what do you call this? And we said, we don't know.
So that's the title they gave it?
No. What we did is we contacted a friend of ours, a guy named John Jorgensen, who's a great guitar player and also writes for a national magazine. We asked him to critique the record, and I'm going to read exactly what Raul had to say about, or rather, tell you what John said about Raul's music.
All right.
Now, the music being written by Raul Reynoso is what I consider to be true world music, inspired by Django Reinhardt, a Belgium-born French gypsy who fused European gypsy music with New Orleans jazz and performed by a Southern Californian of Latin American heritage. A rich combination of cultures, eras, and musical styles is joyfully evident in every Reynoso composition. So, according to John Jorgensen, what Raul has done is he's blended all kinds of styles of music, jazz in particular, and European music, and he's come up with a style that we call jazz and New World music.
Beautiful. Raul, what made you start writing?
Actually, just listening to good music and being inspired by good music. I've always, any guitar player that's ever picked up a guitar would have had to have listened to or been exposed to the music of Django Reinhardt, for example.
Yes, everybody
And,
knows that name.
Yeah, he's a fabulous guitarist and idol to guitar players all over the world, and happens to be my hero, or one of them. And so his music sort of inspired me, and in the process of incorporating other styles of music that we've all played together over the years, the last 15, 20 years, I just started putting these songs together, and then I had the ultimate in musicians to play this music with.
Yes, you do. I think this, in fact, I made a crack at the beginning of the show. This is a far cry from bluegrass, and I want to explain that to the viewers, that I met this group first when they were doing bluegrass primarily for the Disney Corporation.
That's
and now you're playing at the performance centers?
Well, we do a performing arts center
Performing
tour,
arts centers.
and we play all over the United States and parts of Canada. So yeah, we're having a lot of fun.
We're very fortunate to have you here today, and you promised you were going to do another one of Raul's numbers.
This is, to me, this is one of the prettiest that he's written. It's called Juanita's Waltz by Raul Reynoso.
You know the title of that last song, Juanita's Waltz?
Juanita's Waltz, that's
It,
correct.
it had a sort of a Latin flavor, and yet it was strictly a waltz.
It's actually, technically, I guess you would say, a musette-style waltz.
Yes.
Musette music being very, very popular in the 20s and 30s.
Makes me think of France.
Exactly. Parisian musette music, originally played on accordions primarily.
I love the coordination between the violin and the guitar on those runs. You guys were really together on
Well,
that.
thanks, Earl. Thank
It
you.
was beautiful. Now, you're going to play something Latin for us?
Not yet. We're going to save that till the very last. But we've got something. I wanted to give you an idea of how Raul actually wrote this music. I mean, when we were
Okay.
working for the Disney organization, that's when he started working on this jazz and world music style of his. And I don't know, when we'd walk into the break room after our country music sets, because you saw us playing nothing but country music out
Yes,
at Disney.
primarily bluegrass.
Well, on our breaks, we would sit around and we'd
play
start
jazz.
experimenting with jazz music, which had well, it had a way of getting into our country music sets, whenever Disney management wasn't watching. And then there was a big,
I
then
understand.
one day we had a big revelation. We found out that Disney management never watched us. So we started adding all these little jazz tunes that we wanted to every
and
country
the
music
public
set.
loved it.
Well, we kept our job.
Yeah, you sure did. Okay, what are you going to play for us
Well,
now?
I'm going to have Raul tell you.
Okay. Now, Earl, when we first started the Rhythm Brothers in this particular configuration, we started off playing classic jazz from the 20s and 30s and 40s. And one of the first tunes I brought to the band was this one, which is a great song by Billie Holiday, entitled What a Little Moonlight Can Do.
Oh, yes.
In the evening, oh, you're in love. Your heart's a fluttering all day long. You only stutter 'cause your poor tongue just won't utter the words, I love you. Whoa, whoa, whoa. One little moonlight can do. Wait a while till little moonbeam comes creeping through. You'll get bored, you can't resist her, and all you say after you kissed her is a whoa, whoa. One little moonlight can do. Oh, pack her down, Raoul. Wait a while till the moonbeam comes creeping through. You get bold, you can't resist her, and all you say after you kissed her is ooh, what little moonlight can do. Ooh, 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 what little moonlight can do.
Now, the Rhythm Brothers have studied a lot of musicians throughout the years, and one of the musicians that we've studied is a fellow named Stephen Grappelli, a great jazz violinist from the 1930s who had a very smooth and sophisticated style on the violin. And we're going to ask Paul Shalaski over here on the violin to show you the Stephen Grappelli style. Another great stylist back then was a fellow named Stuff Smith who had a very eccentric style. But the greatest innovator of the 1930s violin scene was a fellow named Joe Venuti, who figured out how to play all 4 strings of the violin at the same time. Now, to do that, he actually had to take the violin hair off of the fiddle bow, wrap it around all 4 strings of the fiddle, as Paul is now doing. And when he did that, he came up with a brand new style called the 4-string Joe. Shalaski.
I've never seen a violin played that way.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
I love it.
Okay, you've done a vocal. Are you going to do another vocal for us now?
I think we will. I think, in fact, I'll have Raul take us into this one. A little vocal by, well, you know, we like to sing a lot of different styles of music, so.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is we've been influenced by many bands over the years, and we've listened to, like, for example, the Mills Brothers and the Andrews Sisters, the Boswell Sisters, and this is one by the great and incomparable Cab Calloway.
Okay.
Mr. Heidi-Ho himself. It's a tune called Chicken Ain't Nothing But a Bird.
Chicken, light brown chicken, barbecue chicken. Won't you send it down the line?
Well, everybody knows about chicken. Chicken's a popular word. You can call it what you want, put it into a pot. Well, chicken ain't nothing but a bird. Well, it may not be tops in your taste buds, but it's bound to be second or third. But be that as it may, I'm telling you today, chicken ain't nothing but a bird. Well, you can roast it, boil it, spoil it, cook it in a pan or a pot. Eat it with potatoes, rice or tomatoes, chicken's still what you got. Boy, it was a dish for old Caesar, and also King Henry III. But Columbus was smart when he said what he said. He said, chicken ain't nothing but a bird.
Chicken ain't nothing but a bird. Chicken ain't nothing but a bird. Chicken ain't nothing but a bird. Well, you can roast it, boil it, spoil it, cook it in a pan or a pot. Eat it with potatoes, rice or tomatoes.
Chicken's still what you've got. Boy, dogmatics may call it foul.
That's foul.
Well, that's just a story I've heard. You can call it what you want, put it into a pot. Well,
Chicken ain't nothing but a bird. Chicken, light brown chicken, barbecue chicken. Won't you send it down the line?
Makes me hungry.
Same here.
We have been in the studio a long time.
Yes,
I'm
we
ready.
have. Are you going to get around to something Latin for us?
Are we at that point?
I hope so.
Okay, great. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to do another tune by Raul Reynoso.
Good. I wanted to hear some more of his work.
One of the things that was intriguing about watching him create this music at Disney is that when we'd learn a new style of music and take it out to the park, he'd come back in and practice it and mess around with it. And then all of a sudden you'd start to hear a new tune that he was writing that was incorporating some of that, whether it be Latin music or whether it be Irish music or whether it be classical music. You could just, it was absolutely inspirational to watch.
Okay.
So we're going to show you what I consider his most powerful tune, in which he incorporates all the different styles that we know how to play into this unbelievable piece of music called Raul's Rumba.
Beautiful, beautifully executed. I would have called it Raul's Samba because it definitely made me want to do a samba, not a rumba.
Gets you moving no matter what.
No kidding, it does. It does.
Just the 2 R's.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you very much for being our guests on Adventures in Life. This is the Rhythm Brothers, and I want to thank our viewers for joining us also. And I'm going to ask the band to play something to sort of take us out.
You want us to drift away into the sunset.
Oh, yeah, but make it lively.
Lively drift.
A lively drift.
I think we can do that. All right, we'll do something by the. We'll do an arrangement by the Boswell sisters. Remember them?
Yes.
Oh, here's one of their arrangements on a very old tune.
Changing the weather, changing the scene. From now on there'll be a change in me. My walk will be different by talking my name. Nothing about me is gonna be the same. I'm gonna change my way of living. If that ain't enough, then I'll change the way that I strut my stuff. Nobody wants you when you're old and gray. There'll be some changes made today. There'll be some changes made.